Fear the dragon's roar!
Our first warrior has been the visage of the Dynasty Warriors series for over 15 years, and has garnered enough renown to be called Dragon. As one of the 5 tiger generals of the Kingdom of Shu, he faces every battle with legendary valor and skill. His name is Zhao Yun. Known for his martial skill and bravery in the service of the warlord Liu Bei, Zhao Yun has earned his place in legend as a peerless and honorable warrior. With his spear in hand and virtue in his heart, he meets every battle head-on. Though his name and exploits have survived for generations in many folktales and anecdotes, his career began from a rather innocuous place before his meeting with Liu Bei. In Dynasty Warriors, his path begins with his service under Gong Sun Zan, a minor cavalry general of the Imperial Han. Though Zhao Yun was only a servant at the time, his loyalty and precocious skill in martial arts led to his first major battle at Hulao Gate alongside the coalition forces. Hoping to fight for justice by joining the crusade against the greedy lord Dong Zhuo, Yun eagerly entered the fray, and it was there that he crossed paths with another volunteer general, Liu Bei. Due to his selfless and noble goals for a renewed land of peace under the Han, he quickly earned Zhao Yun's attention. After the coalition successfully ousted Dong Zhuo, Yun, albeit with some hesitance, left Gong Sun Zan's side to join with Liu Bei's then paltry army, seeking a much more worthy cause to fight for. In the years that followed, Zhao Yun showed exemplary skill on the battlefield and soon developed a close bond with Liu Bei. Bei himself believed in a land of equality, and Yun saw truth in his words, vowing to never serve any other lord from then on. Though his actions spoke volumes of his talent for fighting, he was still a humble man at heart. For much of his life, he searched for a worthy lord to serve, hoping to see an end to the wars in which he was raised. He never spoke rudely to his superiors or his allies, and even when meeting the foes that would challenge him, he would only ask for a fair and honorable duel. His polite demeanor surprised many of his compatriots, particularly Lords Guan Yu and Ma Chao. Yet, his inherent modesty made him an approachable and overall reliable vassal to his master and kingdom, a role which he was glad to fill. Even so, over the course of his military career, innumerable troops have fallen by his hand, and he has participated in questionable campaigns on behalf of Liu Bei and his successors. His immense talent for battle also made him adept at killing, even if he believed that the cause was just. This is most notable during the many conflicts that culminated in the Battle of Chengdu, wherein Liu Bei, with immense regret, turned against one of his relatives in order to secure the fertile lands of Shu, thereby establishing the foundation of his kingdom. Zhao Yun, among many other generals at the time, was forced to charge through peasant militias that cursed Liu Bei's choice to invade their land. Though he had to obey his lord, Yun spared many of the peasants, and he wondered if this was truly a righteous way of achieving peace. The Battle of Chengdu ended in victory, but it came at a great cost to Liu Bei's army with the deaths of certain officers. For Zhao Yun, however, this battle was one of many obstacles that he had to surmount. Some years prior to the conquest of Chengdu, Liu Bei was forced to flee his brief home of Shu province from the kingdom of Wei, led by the emperor's prime minister, Cao. He was cunning as he was ruthless, a man with an unrelenting drive to forging a new world and stamping out Liu Bei forever. Zhao Yun was once again called to the field to aid in the retreat, guarding throngs of peasants and volunteers whom, even with very little food or money, chose to follow Liu Bei's virtuous cause. The exodus was halted, however, and Cao at last caught up to his rival at Changban Crossing. It was here that the young dragon's legend was forged. In the chaos of the fighting, Liu Bei's legitimate son Liu Shan was left behind in a small village with several handmaidens, and as Bei crossed Changban Bridge, he feared it may have been too late. Zhao Yun quickly volunteered to venture back alone, hurrying towards the boy and cutting through any soldiers that stood in his way. Before long, he found the infant unharmed, but was soon surrounded by several Wei generals and ambushed. Seeing no way to escape, Yun summoned every ounce of his spirit and charged at the encroaching troops, whirling his spear as though it was weaving a tempest around him. It was in this reckless stampede of valor that he earned the nickname Dragon. When he returned to his lord, Liu Bei is said to have told him, "Zhao Yun, you have valor, through and through." After the battle, he was named as one of the 5 Tiger Generals of Shu, a band of warriors known for peerless martial skill and upstanding character, and faithfully served Liu Bei until his death at Baidi Castle. Since the beginning, Zhao Yun has always embodied precision and purity, a valiant rider clad in silver that pierces the enemy ranks. Much like the other officers of Shu, his cloth and leather pieces are shaded in green and light blues, reflecting both his allegiance to the kingdom and his honorable moral code. In essence, his clothing very much resembles those of ancient knights and chivalric warriors, very clearly giving him an aura of kindness and honesty. With each incarnation throughout the Dynasty Warriors series, he's always had long hair and a metal headband, granting him a young but talented appearance as though much of his time is spent training and bettering himself. In later entries, however, he gained much more armor, giving him more of a knightly look instead of a young martial artist. Additionally, since he's often depicted riding a white horse in large battles, his armor plating could suggest that he prefers to fight on horseback when he can, as well as in the thick of combat. Suffice it to say, Zhao Yun's choice of clothing was easily influenced by his character, especially when considering how bold and eager he is to meet his enemies in battle. After joining Liu Bei's forces, Yun became closely acquainted with many of his allies, both new and veteran alike. Even if he generally carried himself in an amiable and kind manner, trusting every officer in equal measure, he formed much closer bonds with a select few, namely Liu Shan, Zhang Xingcai, and the children of Guan Yu. With Liu Shan, Zhao Yun acted as a spirited mentor to the young emperor in waiting and instructed him in the martial arts, which Shan was honored to receive. Eventually, Liu Shan saw Yun as highly trustworthy after his father passed away, and followed his advice to preserve the happiness of the people in the wake of Shu's demise. As the daughter of Zhang Fei, Zhang Xingcai fought alongside Yun in many large battles to prove her strength, and trusted him very much. Guan Yu's offspring often looked to Zhao Yun as a confidant of their father, even if it meant he had to occasionally break up their petty fights. In spite of this, Yun reminded them often that their strength was their own, and the fate of Shu was theirs to protect. Even other warriors beyond his era were awed by his strength, as shown in his interactions with the samurai Yukimura Sanada and the various mystic warriors during the Serpent King Orochi's reign of destruction. In all, Yun strides in a loyal and kind way, but has the humility to place trust in others even if he must sometimes face his enemies alone. Indeed, these are traits that few warriors of his caliber could match. Thus, Zhao Yun has been preserved in legend as a man of compassion, honor, and a nearly unmatched sense of justice. His deeds in battle and a dutiful service to Liu Bei's dream of peace has earned him a place in my archive. I would be a fool to say that this library would not be lesser without his story etched into it, and I can only hope others see the value in his character as well. Join me next time and we'll open the Codex to a master strategist and swordsman of Wu, one whom was willing to place himself in grave danger for the sake of his friends and lord, and whose plans sowed the very foundations of the Three Kingdoms. I am the Eastern Fox. Be safe on your journey, my friend.